How's it going, guys? So August 5th, week of August 5th training here. Kind of got all my big lifts. I got a lot of footage this week, so I'm gonna kind of go over them, let you guys know how each lift went, and all that stuff, and I'll kind of have some more information on the screen. So Monday, full body day for me. Started off with back squat. This was really good. This was my 5s day essentially, and I hit a PR. I think I only got one set, but I hit I believe 2 or 3 sets, 320 for 5. And they weren't like huge grinders either, which make it felt really good. So squats have been pretty dang good after I had that little stint with some calf issues. Don't get me wrong, they're not completely gone, but doing a lot more mobility work, doing my taper, I believe 2 weeks ago, and also using my knee sleeves when I need them has helped a lot. So I PR'd again today earlier, but 320 for 5 is the best I've ever gotten on a body weight for squat. So I'm really enjoying the both moderate days, front squat days, and heavy days. So moving on to Tuesday, deadlifts. This is like the acclimation set here. I did have some kind of hip issues. Sometimes my quads and my hips just get so thrashed from squatting frequently, and then in combo with sumo pulling, which is one of the reasons why I want to pull conventional, but just can't do it right now with mobility and whatnot. But here's my top set. This was 325 for 4. Might be a PR for me. Or sorry, not 325 for 4. It should be 325 for 7. This was my 5+ set. So instead of doing the 531, I'm actually doing 351, if that makes sense. So I kind of go medium, light, heavy in the 3-week wave, and I probably will deload like the program calls for. But other than my hips kind of being totally torn up after this, deadlifts felt really good. Like they felt good during the motion. I was kind of shooting for 10 reps, but I definitely wasn't upset with that performance. And then I backed off. I did one set, like I think 285 for 5. And instead of doing my really light set, I just pulled some conventional just to kind of get some more practice at this. Again, this is only 225, so form doesn't really start to be an issue here. But I like to pull conventional if possible, so always trying to work on my form a little bit there. So again, just doing some lighter stuff after my heavy crap. But for the most part, it felt really good. And I followed this up with bench press today. This isn't my top set. I don't know if I didn't film it or not, but I did hit 225 for 5 on this day. Benching frequency is moderate, about 3 times a week. And this day wasn't great. Again, once you deadlift, you don't have too much in the tank. But I did what I needed to as far as my percentage work. And 225 for 5, not even 100% fresh for me. Pretty damn good. So far so good. And then Wednesday I took off. Thursday I came back and hit front squats. So this is something kind of new for me. I put in the last 2 weeks mainly to kind of give myself some active recovery as much as you actually can from squatting 225. And I think they're kind of fun, and I like them as far as working on my thoracic strength, or just being able to hold that weight there. My thoracic mobility, which you'll see in the next clip, isn't great. So doing some front squats, since I do low bar, if you're going to squat high bar, I don't see front squats being a huge benefit to you. But if you squat low or lower bar like I do, front squats are a good little mix up. So if I can do maybe like a back squat, front squat, back squat combo, that would be pretty good for me. And yeah, so you definitely see there's a lot of thoracic extension here, which is why I like to do these, because it challenges me a lot. And I'll probably just alternate back between 5s and 3s. So I pretty much just work my way up to a heavy set, a heavy triple or a heavy 5, and then do a couple of back off sets to like 5 to 10% down. So 225 for 5 this week, which was pretty damn good for me. Then moved on. This was my lower day, so lower assistance work. Hip thrust definitely on these days. People still don't really buy into this exercise. Not sure why, because it looks kind of strange, but I've worked up to like 245 before, but I was really kind of just ego training, and I didn't feel a lot in my glutes. If you do this correctly, your glutes are just on fire. So I like to keep the rep range around 8 to 12, maybe even upwards of 15. And this set here was actually like a rest pause, so I think I did like 9 or 10 or something. Pretty much counted to 10 on my head. This was the final set, and then pumped out like 2 more little mini set, so like cluster reps or whatever you want to call it. So but these are definitely good. If you don't implement hip thrust, I definitely recommend it. Again, other than like squat or deadlift, of course, some of my main assistance exercises for those two would be good mornings. Definitely the hip thrust. I'm not sure even what else besides those two. Those are probably my go-to assistance movements as far as lower body. RDLs are good too. But that's kind of essentially the same thing as a good morning. But yeah, again, like I said, start really light with these, like really light, and make sure you can feel it in your glutes. And again, I can't really correlate like how much they've helped my squat or deadlift, but I definitely notice my glutes getting stronger, and that definitely can't be a bad thing. So moving on to Friday. This was my full upper day, so heavy bench day. This was a phenomenal day for me. This was yesterday. That would have been my second set there. So I did hit, I believe I hit 420 for 3 sets of 2, and I almost got a triple on the last set. So considering like 6 to 8 weeks ago, this was almost my max. Being able to hit this pretty consistently for doubles is awesome. By the way, this is Craig, my training partner. He's actually a really awesome dude. This is him repping 300. He hit 315 later on in the workout, but it's pretty cool because I'm stronger than him on lower body. He's stronger than me on upper body, so we kind of complement each other pretty well. So shout out to him. He's probably not watching. So here are some more doubles for me. Again, I always like to lift heavy, and not having a spotter sometimes kind of sucks when you're doing bench, because again, there's kind of a pendulum you have to weigh there with the risk reward. So being able to have a spotter today really helped me out, and really going for those 240 doubles. So again, I'm definitely going to raise up my bench percentage next week. This was my heaviest day, and this was the top of my percentage work. Again, I don't do a like 75% or 85% or 95%. I kind of have a range to work within, and then I'll just increase my training max, and then again just kind of stick with that range, if that makes sense. So I put these in. These are pin lay rows. I always do these on my upper days as like my main horizontal row movement. I really put this in for Kyle Brewbreaker, so hopefully you're watching this, Kyle, just to kind of give him some tips on pulling with the elbows and making him, just allowing him to see my form to help him out a little bit. So moving on to today, Saturday, did both squat and bench today. Great PR for me today. This was not my PR set. This was kind of my first working set. This was 325 for a triple. This was actually my equivalent to my top set last week. I definitely knew I had more in me there. Then I went on to 335. I was feeling really good. My top end was 340, so I wanted to give this a shot, and this set felt great. This was a triple here. My depth was good. Couldn't say anything bad about this set, honestly. I hate to say perfect, but as far as what I'm looking for in my squat, that is it. A little bit grindy there, but I definitely had more in the tank. I contemplated going for a 340 here, but I was like, just hit another triple. And a pretty good idea probably that I didn't try to hit 340, because I barely grinded a double here, and I ended up backing off for the last set. But yeah, if you kind of noticed, I do follow DUP, obviously. So what that means is I might squat or bench or do whatever like 2-3 times a week, but they're never the same weights. It's not that I'm squatting like 225 and then like 400, but say for instance I might have a 4 to 6 day and then a 2 to 4 day, or I might have a 6 to 8 day, a 4 to 6 day, a 2 to 4 day, like bench. And again, it changes each kind of wave, but that's kind of how you set up DUP. You can train the same exercises. You can do this with any lift, really. You can do it with like biceps too. Have like a heavy day and a light day. It's not that complicated. But that was my last set there. I backed off from 320 for a triple. But overall, training was freaking amazing this week. This is my final set of bench press. This was a 210, 215, something like that for 7 on bench. Getting some higher rep work in there. But yeah, training was awesome this week. I'm definitely going to up my training maxes for next week. Not really change anything that I can think of besides maybe some assistance work here and there, but the bread and butters are staying the same. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, leave them below. And that's it, guys. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week.